As Andrew Tate, I'd like to think I'm pretty all encompassing when it comes to strengths, and I've made sure of that. My father had a saying, which is now my saying, as I'm the oldest Tate. My unmatched perspicacity coupled with sheer indefatigability makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. And I stand by that. I do like to believe I'm a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. If someone were to come up to you and say, you have to have a skateboarding competition, but don't worry, the guy you're skateboarding against can't skateboard. You'd be like, cool. And then I turned up. Part of you would be like, shit. Even I can't even skateboard. But part of you would be like, Tate.
Tate, this guy.
Yeah, not this guy. You know, I'm just that guy.
He's pretty good.
I'm just that guy I'm just good at stuff.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to compete against me at anything. So I'm good at everything. My weaknesses, I've strongly analyzed my weaknesses. In fact, I've sat around with friends of mine and with people who I care about dearly and who care about me back and said, if I had to hurt me, how would I do it? If I decided to do damage to me in my life, how would I do it? Where are my weaknesses? It's been analyzed and talked about and discussed at length.
Because you need to do that reflection.
You have to know. Most people don't do that. No. Most people don't say, if someone wanted to ruin my life, how would they ruin it?
Yeah.
So I know all of my weaknesses. I know all my weak points. Obviously, I defend and guard them the best you can, but obviously not everything can be completely defended and guarded. I know what they are. I'm not going to advertise them to the feral psychopaths of Earth.
Okay.
But I think in terms of how difficult a target on Earth is, I'm certainly one of the top hardest people on Earth to damage, whether emotionally, psychologically, physically, etc. I'm extremely difficult to damage because I live a reality in which I'm very conscious of these things, paranoid perhaps, and I'm hard to get to. Most men, you can just steal his girlfriend. Most men, you just steal his chick. You steal his chick or just run up on him when he goes to the chicken chip shop. And most men are so easy to hurt. Most men you can just lie about in the media, matrix attack them, and they'll have a mental breakdown. Most men are so absolutely not mentally
They'll say sorry.
They'll cry. I did none of that stuff, right? Most men, you can just message his girl. You can just get a famous guy with a blue tick to message his girl, and bam. Before you know it, she's in his bed talking about how that man. Like, most men are absolutely not easy to hurt.
They're controlled by all their emotions.
Completely.
But how do you detach yourself from your emotions?
It's not about detaching yourself from your emotions. I feel every single emotion. It's just about using them all in a positive direction.
Yeah.
If I feel extremely happy and excited, I'm going to use that as motivation or energy to do amazing things and do good and work hard. If I feel absolutely depressed and distraught, I'm going to use that as endless energy and motivation to do amazing things and work hard. It doesn't matter what you give me. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted and transferred. It doesn't matter what fuel you give me. If you give me diesel, petrol, kerosene, vodka, doesn't matter what you put inside of my engine.
Hard work is going to come out.
Absolutely.
Success.
That's all I know how to do. Yeah. That's all I know how to do. It doesn't matter what fuel you put in my engine. My engine only knows how to do one thing, and that is succeed. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you feed me with. I'm going to be massively successful regardless.
Yeah.
Doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
A top G is a man of impeccable perspicacity and sheer indefatigability who is a feared opponent.
In any realm of human endeavor.
Correct.
That's a top G.
That's a top G.
The first one was your dad.
He was the original top G, the OG. Yeah, and I am now the oldest Tate. I have the same name as him. So Emery Andrew Tate II is gone. Emery Andrew Tate III is here. And there'll be a day when Emery Andrew Tate IV is fighting the Matrix. This is the beauty of life. This is destiny and lineage. So I missed my father's funeral because I just moved to Romania. I had just invested every single penny I had in this enterprise. I was now the oldest man alive in the Tate family. I had to look after my mother and my siblings and take care of people. I had to make a choice. Do I fly back to America and spend money and time and go to this funeral and, waste a few weeks? Or do I sit here and just focus on this enterprise and make sure that it cannot fail? And we talked earlier about speed. Most people go, it's only 2 weeks. It's only a week. It's only a week. The people who say it's only a week are the people who are broke.
They don't value time.
That's the reason you're all poor, because you say it's only a week. It's tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it later. It's only an hour. It's only a day. It's only a minute. You are competing against people like me. We do not waste a second. So I had to make a decision. And I decided that as the oldest man in the family, it's more important that I achieve financial stability for all of us than to go and pay respects to my father and his funeral, because I paid respect to him every single day of his life, and I pay respect to his memory every single day now, and I pay respect to him by being monumentally successful. The reason my father is talked about and discussed at length is because of the absolutely amazing son I've become. Yeah. I am keeping him alive forever by working so hard, by becoming so unique and individual and fantastic and humble. The world asks me about my upbringings, and then my father's memory is kept alive. So I know I made the right decision, and I know he's happy with the decision I made.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have gotten emotional and decided, I had to go to the funeral and had a breakdown and went to the funeral and been sad, etc., etc.
You did what your dad thought would
I did what I was taught to do, which is perform.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught to do. I was upset, obviously. I was sad, obviously. I was heartbroken, of course. But I took all of that energy and I worked harder than I've ever worked. I worked 22-hour days for months because I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And I became one of the most successful people on the planet.
Would you say that's how you get over a tragic loss like that?
I think that any emotion you feel should be converted into positive
influence.
Yeah, you should do good things with any emotion you feel. I can't. What else are you going to do with it? Cry, and this is a genuine question.
Yeah.
What else? If let's say your wife breaks your heart, if you're not going to work, you can't sleep anymore. You're upset. She's running around with a new dude. You see her Instagram story. She's got some new guy. You're furious and you're angry and you're jealous and you're bitter. You have all of this inside of you, but you're not going to go to the gym and work hard and become so fantastically in shape and so rich and so powerful that no girl ever leaves you again. You're not going to do that. No. What are you going to do with it? Text her? Try and explain to her? She doesn't care. Like you can write the most perfect English. You can write the most beautiful words ever constructed. Forget Shakespeare. You can do. It doesn't matter. She doesn't care. She just doesn't care. She's distracted.
She forgot about you.
She forgot about you. So what are you going to do with all of that inside of you if it's not positive? Well, it's going to consume you and you're going to end up self-destructive, or you're going to embarrass yourself, or you can take all of that and put yourself in a position where it never happens to you again.
Yeah.
Those are the choices. So what's the most intelligent choice to make?
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand how many humans function in the world today. I don't get people who don't think like me. I don't understand it. I'm like, well, then how have you survived this long? Life is hard. Life is difficult. Maybe I've just been unlucky, which I don't believe in, but I've had so much trauma and bad events and negativity and stress and all these things that have happened to me. And I've used all of it to be monumentally successful. If I wasn't that way inclined with the workload that God put on my shoulders, I'd just be in a ditch somewhere. Yeah. I just would have killed myself by now. Like, I don't understand how people are functioning. If you're not thinking like me and you're going through life with any other mindset, you've been extremely fortunate that God smiled on you and allowed you to sit around most of the time doing jack shit, and you have yet to be punished for that. Yeah. I could never have lived that life. If I was a bit lazy or a bit, or I was a bit of a snake, or if I lied to people, I'd be dead by now. Yeah. Like, so a lot of these people are just absolutely and utterly blessed by God that they managed to go through life with such a non-competitive mindset and they're still breathing. Like, yeah. I don't understand how people can think any other way. Yeah. I've spoken to dudes and like, I had a bad couple months. Why? My girl left me. You've wasted months? You've wasted months over some. Like, you had think of how much God loves you to have given you the grace and given you the opportunity to waste months of human time over some chick. Like, talk about blessed head to toe. If I waste months, empires are going to collapse. I'm going to end up in a cell or dead if I waste months. I have things to do every single day. I can't waste a second. Yeah. Like, these people are just absolutely infinitely blessed. And their mindset is a product of that because they're spoiled children. Absolutely spoiled children. If you're going through life with any other mindset besides a hyper competitive one, where you are capable of competing with some of the most dangerous men on the planet in all their forms, me and my network, and also my competitors. If you don't have that mindset, then you have to understand that you are spoiled. Yeah. You're spoiled by your reality because there's a whole bunch of people out here daily who fail. There are men out here who fail daily and they have yet to feel the true consequence for it. They fail to go to the gym when they know they should have gone to the gym. They fail because they forgot their keys and it took them 10 minutes to find them. They fail because they replied to a question they got sent on WhatsApp the wrong way. They fail because they didn't smile when they were supposed to. They didn't say please and thank you to that person who helped them. They fail because they didn't say hi to that girl who's looking at them out the corner of their eye. They just fail perpetually. They go through life missing every opportunity and just failing. And somehow we've built a society which is so soft and God is so giving and so graceful that they still have a place to eat and somewhere to sleep, and they're still surviving. That shows how nice God is. Yeah. Because before this society, truthfully, if you were that level of failure, you would be dead.
Survival of the fittest.
It's survival of the fittest. And none of these men out here are fit. No. Their mindset isn't fit. Their reality isn't fit. They're failures.
Physically, mentally.
They're failures. Yeah. And they're just failing every single day. And they go, but you know what? Tomorrow I'll go to the gym. Yeah. You've been failing your whole life. That's all you've done is fail. And then you sit and wonder why people like me absolutely and utterly outcompete you. It is so easy to become a top tier male in the world today because the competition is so ridiculously low. There are 2% killers like me, and everybody else is amateur. Head to toe amateur. They can't even pay attention to anything. They can't try anything. They're amateurs. And it's really mind-blowing to me because I've tried with all of my computational power to imagine having a mindset different to mine. And I just can't see a reality worth having. I can't see a reality worth living. I can't see how you're going to build a life worth experiencing if you have any other mindset. I can't see it.
Yeah.
I've never met somebody with a fantastic life who did not completely and utterly believe in themselves. I've never seen somebody massively succeed and they didn't believe in themselves, ever. I've never seen somebody who just allows life to happen to them and become blown off course by some sadness, end up doing massively monumental and important things. I've never seen it.
It's never happened.
It does, and it's never going to happen because it's competitor. It's like crypto. It's player versus player.
Right.
And there's people like me out here. So when that breaks your heart and you take a few months off and she ends up on my jet and I get rid of her and I don't give a shit.
It was because you never took those months off. You were always working.
Yeah, that's right. And if she leaves me afterwards, let's say she just likes to leave men, more. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm still working. You're still crying. You can't possibly ever beat me. I'll continue to beat you into eternity, as will my bloodline. You will sit and pay the price for the rest of your human years. Even your ancestors above you are disappointed in you, and your offspring for the rest of your lineage will look up and say, my great-great-great-grandfather was a loser because I broke his heart, and now we've been broke ever since.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I'm absolutely lucky. And I don't want to give too many details away, but in my previous life, I was certainly living, I knew some very dangerous people. I've done some dangerous things. There's been a few expose documentaries on the kind of things I was involved in previously. I've had attempts on my life. People have tried to stab me. I've had people try to kill me. I've had members of my family attempts on them. I've had a very certainly difficult life. I don't consider any of the mental stress of this recent Matrix attack anywhere near comparable to the physical altercations and things that have happened to me. But the reason I'm the luckiest man on earth is because God has given me endless building blocks to build a superhero. He's given me endless power. He's given me endless motivation. What do we say?
Yeah.
He's given me endless. I have endless sources of power. I can sit here right now and recall events that will prevent me from sleeping for 2 to 3 days. That gives me a superpower that other men do not have. They want to go to sleep. They're tired. I can stop being tired for days at a time. I can just have a thought. I can remember. I can sit, close my eyes, and use the power of my brain to vividly remember events, and I will not sleep for days. So how
you don't need any drugs. You don't need anything.
I've never taken a drug in my life. I've never tried cocaine in my life. I've never tried weed in my life, ever.
Wow.
I drink a lot of coffee. I smoke cigars, bit of vodka, but I've never tried a narcotic in my life.
Wow.
So God has given me an endless source of power. And when people come to me and say, oh, this happened, I'm really sad, or my heart broke, or this bad thing happened to me, I say, good. Thank the Lord that he's given you this endless source of motivation. You're wasting it. Yeah. That's your problem. But it's been given to you. Nitrous oxide has been given to you. You just have to use it in the correct way. So I'm the luckiest man in the world because all the bad things that happened to me have given me all the building blocks to become the most fantastic man on the face of the planet. Yeah. The reason I don't touch any narcotics at all is because firstly, I was a professional athlete and my blood was tested. Okay. I'm now 35 years old without ever having tried a drug ever. Is there any point in starting now?
No.
I've lived my whole life without ever trying these things. Why start now?
Yeah.
Also, when I look at some of the most degenerate, stupid, ridiculous people on the planet,
they're all drug users.
They all use drugs. It's not very often I meet a man who's completely head to toe, has his life in order, and he likes drugs. A lot of rich people take cocaine, yes, and I do know them and some of them, but I still think they'd be better without cocaine. Yeah. You know, that's just genuinely a vice. But if you go to a festival full of brokies, full of peasants and peons, full of people who don't try very hard at life, and they sit there and they idolize these false idols given to them by the Matrix, and they stand in a crowd full of millions of other people like an insignificant peasant and jump up and down, wow, Diplo, wow, whoever.
Skippism,
yeah, just complete peasant mindset. If you look at these people and say, do you like drugs? Guess what they say?
I love it.
Oh, yeah. So I don't want to go anywhere near the peasantry, right? Yeah. So, because that's what it is. It's disgusting and it's peasantry. So that's why I don't take drugs. And the reason I don't like vape is because I don't think that vape is even remotely natural. Because a tobacco is a plant, okay, cool. But if you manage to put chemicals inside of a little container that tastes like blueberry ice. Yeah. What even is blueberry ice? Yeah. It's not even a flavor. It's just words. Yeah. And then you taste it and you go, that does taste like blueberry ice.
Yeah. How did they made it?
How did they pull that off?
Yeah.
I can't believe it's possibly good for me. Add in the price that it cost. Add in the fact that it costs $1.
Yeah.
And comes deep from the heart of China. Like you're like,
Yeah,
you think they give a shit about the West just puffing away on this petrochemical? They don't care.
They're happy.
Yeah. So if you're gonna smoke, at least smoke something. It was grown.
Yeah. And
It's kind of,
I'd say
the reason I smoke is not because I'm addicted, because I have an iron mind and I can blink and cure my brain and stop smoking completely. In fact, there's certain places I go to in the world where I don't smoke for months at a time. I'm not addicted to anything. The reason I smoke is because nicotine is good for your testosterone level. Okay. That's the reason I smoke. I smoke because I like the drug of nicotine, because nicotine is actually positive. The reason I drink coffee is not because I'm addicted, because caffeine is a miracle drug.
Yeah.
Caffeine
it's good
is
for your heart.
Caffeine's a miracle.
Yeah.
I drink endless coffee, and of course the Matrix will come along and say too much coffee is bad for you, too much meat's bad for you. They say anything to make you weak and stupid. Yeah. Caffeine, people don't understand that coffee changed the world. Before coffee and caffeine, we were we were living our lives in rhythm with the sun. We got up when the sun came up, we went down when the sun came down.
We couldn't go against that.
We didn't go against it very much. With the Industrial Revolution and caffeine, the introduction of caffeine, we now had night shifts, we now had double shifts. Think about this. If a job introduces a coffee break, if a company says, stop working and drink this coffee, that's because the coffee you have is worth the time they let you not work, because you make up for it plus some. That's how powerful it is. And what's actually interesting about me is when I think back, my entire reality is caffeinated. I haven't been awake without caffeine in years.
Yeah.
I drink coffee every single day. So I thought about this and I thought, maybe life's better without caffeine. So I took a week off of coffee.
Yeah.
And there was zero advantage. I didn't sleep any better. Yeah. I felt pissed off. I didn't feel like I could focus as well. I was more tired, but I couldn't sleep any better. It was weird. I was just like, this isn't me. Now, obviously, I'm still a hyper-competitive individual. I still went to the gym. I still did my work. I'm still the top G. But I didn't feel as good.
No benefits.
There was no benefits. Yeah. So after a week, I had a cup of coffee, and it was like, the miracle is back. It's develop a coffee addiction. It's fantastic. There's nothing bad about caffeine. I have 10 to 15 coffees a day every single day, and I will do to the day I die. And just to finish off for my vices, coffee is not a vice. I want the caffeine. Smoking's not a vice. I want the nicotine. These are drugs that I believe are genuinely good for me. The only vice, I guess, is alcohol. And although it looks like in some of my videos I drink a lot, that I can drink a lot, I must have the genetic disposition. I can outdrink almost anybody on the planet. I don't truly drink very often.
And you don't get drunk.
And I know I'm a professional. So for me to get drunk, it has to be a controlled, closed environment, or I have to have a security team. I will not get drunk
in open.
Never. It's either in my house with armed guards outside, or it's on a yacht, it's on a yacht, which is in the middle of the ocean. Or it's very difficult for me to get drunk because I don't like to lose control of reality like that. And 9 times, in fact, not 9, 9.999 times out of 10, if I'm drinking, I either have a weapon on me or somebody next to me does.